Well, Halitoakana. Hello, friends. Chimichukma. The program is Red Hoop Talk. It is I, Jennifer Robin, and we are here in front of a live studio audience. And what the problem is, I can't show you who I'm going to be heckling. They don't settle down. No, this is a great thing we have. Not only are we live to you in the interwebs, but we're live in front of an audience. So this isn't a fake laugh track I ripped off a sitcom. Like, these are real humans that I'm hoping will be chuckling. So we are live for the 102nd annual membership meeting, the Association on Native American Affairs. So we are going to, Shannon.
What's our name?
It's the Association on American Indian Affairs. Thank you. I'm going to be expecting applause every time I get something right. It feels good. So we have the association's president of the board, Frank Edawagishik, a citizen of the Little Traverse Bay Band of Ottawa Indians. Welcome. So we are going to set you up however we can. Try to find the mic, lean in. It's really important to do this stuff live. You can't hide. We're not going to let you hide behind anything. You know why?
Why?
Because you have to introduce yourself to our new listeners that have joined us, and also tell us what we're doing tonight. I think we're doing a little voting.
Well, I'm Frank Edawagishik. You got the name perfect. We should applaud you now you got that right.
Thank you.
And as you mentioned, I'm a recovering politician. I was the chairman of my tribe, the Little Traverse Bay Band, Soboba Indians in Michigan, for 14 years. And now I've been on the board here for a number of years, and I've been president for several of those years for the Association on American Indian Affairs. And as our organization has been around a long time, it's one of the oldest organizations in the country that is promoting Indian issues. Our board is an all-Indian board. However, our membership is both Indian and non-Indian. And we have people who have an interest in protecting and speaking up for the rights of Native Americans here throughout the United States. But we also are aware that the issues are not just within the borders of the United States, but those issues on Indigenous people are from all over the world. And so in that respect, we work on international repatriation, bringing our ancestors home, and on a number of other activities. And so it's really a pleasure to be able to be here, to welcome everybody to this annual meeting. And we're hoping for another 100 years. And so we continue to work on ways to make sure that we're going to be around that long, and to do things that are relevant to the indigenous nations, not only of the North America, but as I mentioned, from people from all over the world, because our issues often are interrelated. So with that, I just wanted to welcome everybody to be here. I'm glad to be here with you for this. And I get to sit in one of those chairs outside there and be one of the live studio audience. And I'm going to eat some dessert while I'm listening to everything. So I appreciate that. Food was really good here that we had. I wish we could have shared it with all of you people online, but we'll eat a little extra for you so that you can get a little bit of that pleasure that we're getting. So thank you very much. Turn it back to you.
Thank you, Frank. You done fine. So now I'd like to introduce JR Redwater. He's a comedian, a veteran, but people are, they're beautiful inside and out. Well, this guy is funny inside and out. JR Redwater, grab your gaggle of beverages and come have a seat. Come have a seat with me. So we are live Here's our watchers. We got watchers here, watchers there. So JR, you're used to performing in front of an audience, but are you used to it sitting down? Are you capable of being funny without pacing and moving your arms?
No.
Well, thanks for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's good. So I want to get everybody in internet world just kind of, I want them to fall in love with you the way that I have over the years with not only your veteran. You taught me a decade ago that natives have the smallest percentage of population, but the highest percentage of enlistment. Is that still a true thing?
Yeah, for sure. The highest kill ratio.
Are you letting me know you tough guy?
No, that's just a fact.
Is it ancestral?
Yeah, definitely.
Our aim?
I wouldn't say aim, but I come from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and I'm Hunkpapa. So, I descend from Chief Gall, who was Chief Sitting Bull's war lieutenant.
Wow.
So they fought against the United States Army, the 7th Cavalry, and they killed Custer. So that's where I come from, and I'm a United States Navy veteran, and I served from January of 95 to January of 99. I served on 2 different aircraft carriers, the USS Independence, that's CV-62. I was forward deployed in Yokosuka, Japan. And so I was 19 when I lived in Japan. So that was a good time. It's cool because you can drink over there when you're 18, So I was like, over here, you got to wait till you're 21. I was all, send me to Japan. So I went to Japan, and then from there, I went on my first Westpac cruise to the Persian Gulf into Iraq, and that's when, right after the Gulf War, but we were there to enforce a no-fly zone. So we were launching aircraft. So that was called Operation Southern Watch. So, but I was I was also, after I went back to Japan, I went back stateside to Alameda Naval Air Station in Oakland. And I got stationed on CVN 70. That's the USS Carl Vinson. And so I went through workups on that ship. I actually flew on to the ship. So that's pretty cool, right? That's how I got on the Carl Vinson to the nuclear aircraft carrier. I went right back to the Persian Gulf after workups. I went right back there. I was like, damn, like you go on one ship, you go on the next one, then it takes you right back there. It's crazy, So, but, I got to be a salty dog. I'm a salty dog right now. I've always been salty ever since then, because it makes you salty. So, because of the responsibilities and the discipline and the hard work and the sacrifice, and you put pride in your work and you work hard, and man, it pays off big time, because even though I was in the war zone and stuff like that, I always felt like I was the safest person, so it's pretty cool. Then I went back again in 1998. That's crazy. And I have kids that are being born. I'm like, what the? I show up home, right? There's a kid on the pier waiting. I'm like, you guys got another way out of here? I gotta go this way. Okay. So yeah, there's a baby in a stroller on the pier after my second cruise. You know, I was like, that wasn't even a baby. It was like a big fat thing. You know, it wasn't even like a little newborn or nothing. So I'm like, what is it? You know,
It's got you counting months, weeks.
I was, it's November. Is this a turkey? So yeah, that's pretty cool to show up and there's a kid there, though. You know, it's been over a year. How did this happen? So he's all grown up by now. So I don't know if I could get a refund or whatever. You know? So, but yeah, so then I went a third time. I was living in San Francisco. You know what's crazy about when you live in Japan and you're like overseas and you're not in the safety of your own country. That's what's crazy, you know, is that you don't get the liberty that you get here. You know, this is truly the best country in the world, you know. So
I'm waiting for your hookah or your aho.
So yeah, living in Japan, you know, like all my shipmates, like when I first went to the Middle East, you know, I went to Dubai in '95, and in the summer or winter of '95, I'm in Dubai. For the first time, I had to wipe my ass with no toilet paper, you know. So I'm like, how do you? What? Then I look over and there's a hose on the wall. You ever been through this? So I was like, oh man. Then I'm like, oh, surely there's paper towels, you know? So I'm like doing the penguin out there, you know? No paper towels.
So you just kind of shake it dry?
No, I scooched it back in and I shut the door and I looked at the hose and I was like, I know what that's for. I gotta give myself an enema right now. So I did, and that was like, I lived through it. So, and I always wonder why their hands are like brown, you know. So,
well, I know you're
never
supposed
shake
to,
with your right hand. Over
yeah,
there.
you shake
That's
with
all I'm
one
saying.
and wipe with the other is what. This is super.
So yeah, then I came back. I've been under the Golden Gate Bridge how many times on an aircraft carrier? I sailed right past the Alcatraz and
so you were one of them.
I sailed under the Bay Bridge. I went to aircraft firefighting school there on the island right there on the Bay Bridge. I don't remember the name of the island. But I've been all over the world and like done many important things for the world. Actually, you're welcome, world.
Well, I do take, especially as a woman, a lot of liberties for granted because I know not every place in the world will let me wear what I want, say what I want, spit on the street, scratch myself. You know, so I've been hesitant.
I've done that all over the world, actually.
Jealous much.
I mean, you know, like it's like, and I'll be honest with you, and Indians don't like this. Nobody likes to hear this, but we were like Roman imperial guards wherever we went. People moved the F out of our way. You know what I'm saying?
Like stormtroopers.
Like, and you know, like it's real. It's a real thing, and you don't really realize it until you live it. And then you wonder how all these countries get conquered. Well, it's big ass motherfuckers like me come in and be like, you know. And sometimes you gotta though, because you know when I first got to the Persian Gulf, I'm watching Al Jazeera on the ship, and I'm 19 years old. I'm like, why am I here? You know. And then I watch and I see Saddam Hussein. I see him like straight unlive someone at the table.
Jeez.
And that's why I was like, oh, that's my enemy. Okay. And so from 95, when I was there until I got out, I was bombing Iraq. That was my job, you know? So it was like, I knew who my enemy was. I knew this guy was vicious. I knew he was a dictator. I knew we had to liberate these people. I mean, there's a mission. Like, maybe the higher ups are making money off of war and stuff like that, but we believe in our mission when we're there, and we believe we're there to liberate people that are being oppressed. And it's liberty and justice for all. That's why we're there. And you can't forget that. And when you look out that flag every day, and you salute that flag every day, and everybody's home, taking advantage of their liberty and freedom, well, there's people right now on watch, keeping us safe. And they believe in the mission. They don't necessarily believe in the warmongering.
Bingo. So you talked about being out of your country and not having the safety of your country. We were at Standing Rock together. I was in my own country. I was in your neck of the woods, and I didn't feel safe at all. So when you rolled in with the veterans, literally 8 years ago today was the first time I felt safe, because I knew people were coming that had my back.
I want to tell you something. First of all, these are the very people I'm talking about. Okay, they're being oppressed by our own government, right? And the irony is here I am doing shit to other countries, right? As a warrior, and then I come home and my own country's doing it to my own people, and I'm like, that's the irony. And then I'm like, I have to go there and I have to put my life on the line. And I couldn't be there every day because I'm a performer, so I'm always in and out. But I visited that camp when it first started, the middle of the camp, and the day that the National Guard and the sheriffs backed off. Me and my son were on the bridge that day. And a lot of Native warriors out there, you know who you are. A lot of natives came to Cannonball, and you guys went out there, all you veterans, and you put your life on the line, and we were ready to go up there and serve some whoop ass on these motherfuckers. So, and that's right, you train us how to be badasses, and then you think that we're just gonna lay down, and that's not gonna happen. And we proved it once, and those days may have to come again, but the funny thing how we got there is Dinah, me, and my stepdaughter. We rolled up there. Oh no, it was my son Titan, my son, the big fat baby that was there when I got that day. Yeah, it was him, but he was a man now, and we were out on that camp or on that bridge. Where they had that wire, we're all ready to go up the hill. But when we were rolling out there, we stopped in Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and there was a rally point there at the community hall or something, the bingo hall there, blue building, the building where you make out at during the powwow. During the annual Wachipi. So Wachipi means celebration, So we pull in there, and a lot of veterans were pulling in there. They didn't know where to go up in Standing Rock. I'm from Standing Rock, and they were just piling up. They said, what do we do now? Nobody was in charge. Nobody knew shit. So I was like, you guys follow me. Everybody, who's going to Standing Rock? And they all said, here, line up outside. Let's muster up. I started talking military again. Yo, muster up outside. Yo, I got this shit. Yo. So I had all the veterans muster up outside, and I said, okay, whose vehicle is what? We're going to make a convoy up to Cannonball, up to Standing Rock. And I said, I'm from here. I'm going to jump in this lead truck. But first of all, we had to balance out the loads in the trucks because people brought firewood, they brought potatoes, they brought every kind of supply, right? And I said, this truck is top heavy. We gotta, because I had a CDL, so here I thought I was all that shit too, you know. But so next thing you know, like we're in a convoy, and I'm in a U-Haul, and I have like 15 trucks behind me full of veterans, and we're all loaded down. We're all charging on up to Standing Rock. I look in the mirror, I see friggin' a big old line of people. And it was so awesome. We pulled in the Cannonball, and we're like, the cavalry's here, you know? Cavalry has arrived. And yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. And we spread all the goods around all throughout the camp. We went around, and so I had a good time at that camp, but yeah.
But you came literally willing to die for it. And the easement came down, the pause on all the construction happened the day that that with the veterans marched that bridge, and then shut it down.
Yeah.
Everything shifted that day.
Yeah, you know,
everything.
I just got to recognize my nephew. He was out there. He's one of the most baddest ass Indians I've ever met in my whole life. And it's my older sister. Her name is Denise, if you're out there, sis. But her son, Dwayne, he was a warrior on the front lines, and he deserves a lot of credit, even more than me. You know, I'm just a mouthpiece. This guy, he was one of the security in the camp, right, through the whole process. And he was on the front lines, and they were shooting at him, and they were pepper spraying him, everything. They brought the dogs out on him. And one of his big old homies, one of his big kolas, that means friend in our language. One of his kolas grabbed him away from one of those sheriffs because they already had grabbed him and they were gonna arrest him. But his big kola comes running in, and he's like, ooh, throws him over his shoulder and runs off with him and shit. Yeah.
Like the end of Bodyguard, the movie.
Yeah, no, it was so cool, you know, and so I bought them a beer at the casino, you know, because I was so proud of them, and I love to see these warriors do their thing, you know, and there's so many warriors out there that's the brotherhood I belong to, you know, and I'm glad my nephew is one of them, and I'm very proud of him, and he carries our family drum. The drum used to belong to my father. It's like a spiritual thing, you know. But he carries the drum, and he brings it around to all the powwows and makes money. And they say, you take care of the drum, it takes care of you, you know. So
I love it. But we're going to take 2 minutes to play a few promos. And guess what? It's time to vote. We're going to play a time to vote video because Frank is up for his new term. He'd like to renew it as the association president. And we are going to post a link, play a few promos. And then what I love about this with you, like, I don't have to do shit. I literally just try to say a sentence so people know on the podcast version that I'm here. But really, I just kind of let you off the chain. It's easy. I feel like maybe I should just hire you for all my stuff. Like I could be the Ed McMahon to your Carson. You know what I mean? Just, you know, poke the bear and introduce the segments. So let's take a few minutes here. I like this laugh track thing though. It feeds me. They're laughing at you, but I'm still feeding off it. I dig it. I might just sit backstage at all your shows and just absorb it all. So
isn't that what you've been doing?
Shut up. You don't let me backstage enough. I try. All right, we'll be back.
Let's meet the board of directors for the Association on American Indian Affairs. They oversee the fiduciary responsibilities of the organization as well as its governance responsibilities. Frank Edwagishik serves as the board's president and is a citizen of the Little Traverse Bay Bands of Odawa Indians. Josh Riley is a citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma and serves as the association's vice president. Joe Daniel Sr. is our treasurer and is a citizen of the Forest County Potawatomi Nation. Lisa Tiger Martin serves as our secretary and is a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation. John Echohawk has served on our board of directors for well over 3 decades and is a citizen of the Pawnee Nation. Brad Keeler has served even longer, maybe even over 4 decades, and is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation of Indians. Rory Wheeler serves as our nominating committee chair and is a citizen of the Seneca Nation. And finally, Jonathan Perry is a citizen of the Quina Wampanoag tribe and is a member of the board of directors. It's time to vote. In the chat, you'll see the link to the form that you'll fill out to say yes or no for the renewal of Frank Edwagishik for another 4-year term as a board of directors member for the Association on American Indian Affairs. Vote now.
Everything back.
Okay, we are here with JR Redwater, my Silky Sue. Now, JR, we're here in some of the comments from the listeners.
Yeah.
We have somebody, what is it, Monica? Monica says hello from Australia. Did you ever Australia on one of your big fancy ships?
Yeah. I've been in Australia. I've been to Hobart. That's Tasmania. So it's pretty.
What is it?
I spent a week there. It's pretty dope. I have a tattoo on my arm. It's a shellback. So who's up from Australia? What's her name?
Isn't it Monica A?
Okay, Monica.
She
I'm gonna
didn't-
show you this tattoo.
I had a feeling you were going to take something off
If I
at some
have
point.
clothes on at the end of this interview,
I know.
something's wrong.
I knew it.
Okay, so here's the tattoo, right? It's of a turtle shellback because I'm a shellback. Okay, because you become a shellback. First of all, you start out as a slimy pollywog, right? And then you go through initiation when you go into the southern hemisphere, and it's basically hazing day. But that's my shellback right there, and it has a trident through it and 2 anchors. But also I went down on 00 latitude and 00 longitude, so I'm a golden shellback.
I can't remember.
So I've been down there twice.
Yeah.
So thanks, you guys. You guys know how to party down there. That's all I could say. Thank you.
And then neither of us really have glasses, so I'm not sure how many more comments without us both going. Is that-
I see congratulations. I
So
think
go
that's
with
a
it.
good comment.
Take it. I
Yeah,
think it
I'm
was
gonna
for.
take that
I
one.
think it was for the association, but you can have.
Oh
it.
yeah. I'm still in Frank's congratulations. He's gonna be the president again.
Just take it. Now we got tramp stamps. You got any tramp stamps?
Oh my! I'll top that. No, I'm just kidding. She showed me it. Damn, it's getting hot in here.
That's what you expect. It's what happens when you come to tribal land for these conferences and conventions. It brings the weird out. There's a drum circle and a fire at hole 9 in a couple hours.
Yeah. No, I've traveled the world, man. It's I've seen things people don't normally see, you know?
I get that from you. Like you can see like part joy, part trauma in your eyes when you just stare off, you know?
It's
it was-
mostly joy.
If it was fun, but it hurt a little.
Nah, I just don't remember all of it.
It's for the best. It's
Nah, it's fun though. No, it's fun to learn all the different cultures. Like when I first went to Hong Kong, that's kind of crazy, you know. It's like I went to McDonald's and they serve beer, so I was like, this is my town, you know, Hong Kong. So, but yeah, I've been there like 3 times, and did a lot of sightseeing. All the food is what really, you know. If you go somewhere and you don't try the local food, then what the hell?
Yeah.
Join the Air Force. Join the Coast Guard.
So it's hard enough still in America sometimes for people to acknowledge us as still here. Are people more shocked all over the world that there's a real life Indian? Or are they better?
They thought I was Filipino, so I was like, just rolling with it, you know, like, oh, chicken adobo, yeah, ponce, yeah. So yeah, you just gotta get in where you fit in, kind of Kamala Harris, like, you know. I was talking like an Aussie when I was down there. Hey, mate, where you going, mate? You want to go out for some tea? I'm like, yeah. What's tea? They're like, that's food.
Wait, what? Like biscuit and tea and tea?
No, it's like fish and chips, you know? If they'll say, let's go for some fish and chips, you think you're going to eat fish and chips, right? It's like, you're just going out for lunch. That's all that means.
So
right, Australia?
syllables.
Are you still there, Australia? Yeah, it's like you can't ask for tissue because that means toilet paper, you know?
But at least you have it. So call it whatever, you know what I mean?
You know, things are different. That's all I'm saying. They go on the other side of the road, okay? I thought we were high.
No, sir. So where's your favorite place?
Australia.
It is. You're not just saying that to
Nah,
save face.
Singapore, Australia. Yeah.
Still think there's little Lakotas. Little Lakotas all over.
Yeah, there's probably Indians on other continents.
Well, I like Navy boys. I like Navy boys because you don't have to ghost them. You know what I mean?
I wave
they
bye
do
to
it
their
themselves.
mom. They're like, go back to your boyfriend now.
Well, when you talked about San Francisco, Fleet Week is my favorite. I just kind of go window shopping, you know.
I don't know about that. But.
all those buttons. It's a lot. Of work.
Whenever we left Australia, honestly, like, because I had 3 girlfriends all week long. Like they were cool with their boyfriends were cool with that.
Yeah, okay, I'm sure they're
were. Like, we're going fishing, mate. Have fun with our ladies. I'm like, I will, mate. You guys get on out of here. I'll take it from here. So yeah, they get mad when you leave, though, you know, because it's like
they get mad.
All the boyfriends show up on the pier. They call us Yankees and shit. I'm like, I'm Indian, fool. Nah. But nah, they do. They line up on the pier. They start cursing at us because
you just banged 3
Well,
girlfriends.
they go fishing or take care. Yo, hey, come on. We're just passing through, okay? Trying to liberate some women.
I can imagine you running towards that pier. You know what I mean?
Hey, liberty and justice for. Oh, I said. Are you talking?
I'm
waiting for you to ask me a question.
Well, I understand now all of the shots you guys get. All of the inoculations make so much sense. You know, just complimentary penicillin when you need it. Like, I'm understanding.
Why are you bringing up bullshit?
Well, let's talk about some new shit. So you're a fancy Hollywood Indian. You an LA stand-up comedian. Is it treating you all right? Is Southern California being good to you? About to run back to the red?
You know, I was way nicer when I got here. Yeah, no, this is a tough town. Like, if you're not tough, then
the race card doesn't help you get in the door anywhere.
Not no more. Oh, that's just JR. Let him do 5 and get him the fuck out of here.
That's what the women in Australia said too.
Hey, but there's 3 of them, so it adds up, okay? That's triple time.
Carry the one. It's cute. I love it. So I want to sell you because you're not just a funny man. You're also super creative, and you're a writer, and you write scripts, and you have this deeper sensitive side that we really don't get to see or believe is actually there.
That's right. Like I said, I used to be nice, but when you get salty, really, it really that becomes a part of your whole persona, but you're always gonna do shit that's kick ass, and it's never gonna be halfway. And to be honest with you, in comedy, it was in 2001. I lived in Garden Grove or Anaheim, and I started going to church again. But anyhow, what had happened was I went into the chapel one time by myself, and I fell down on my hands and knees, and I told God, I said, Lord, I said, if you help me become a professional comedian, I'm gonna serve you for the rest of my life. So I gave my life to Christ. I'm a Christian today, and I'm born again in the Spirit. And ever since I was 21, I've been born again when I was in the Navy. So I've been all over the world with God, and I used to look and I used to say, God, why you show me these things, Today, now I look back and I have more clarity. I see things in a more spiritual light, But so in 2003, that's when I asked the Lord. I was doing the open mics already for like 3 years, and that's when I prayed that prayer. And I said, just give me a sign. So I went to do this open mic in Huntington Beach, California. And so everybody's bombing, right? Like everybody's going on stage and they're bombing. And I'm like, man, it's a tough room, man. And I got to go up. So I go up, but I kill, right? Like I destroy the room. And at the end, yeah, I'm not bragging, really. It's just how it happened, like that, like I knew like the change and the shift in the room. And then I saw like an aura over the audience, right? And I felt like that was God saying, do it and don't look back. Don't stop. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I know that's the confirmation. That's all I need. I prayed for it. You're telling me in my spirit, I'm rolling with it. And so I've been a pro since January 6, 2004. And it's 2024 already, right? It's going to be a pro.
So because you brought it up, many of our nations are Christian nations now. Does the Christian religion conflict with indigeneity in any way, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel a conflict within, like, oh, I can't do this ceremony because
it's not that I can't, because obviously if I wanted to, I don't think that God or Jesus is going to be mad if I practice my culture, my heritage, but it's that I don't need to, because I already said I live in the Spirit. So religion to me is when you have to do something.
Okay.
And spirituality is when you can just say, I know you got me, and I know you paid the price for all the bad things
there's a lot of names for God
against me, right? But only He can do it. So I'm always operating in the Spirit all the time. So it's not that I need to burn sage or go to a Sundance or go on a Inipi or a Uweepi or any ceremony. My ceremony is when I wake up, I say, thank you, Jesus, for this day, for another chance. And when I go to sleep, when I pray over my food, Lord, thank you for this free food. I'm sure someone's paid for it. Oh, thank you. I love you, And I lived such a extraordinary life. Like I know because I lived it, and it's just I just what I look back in my past and I'm like, I did that. I used to be a hookup petty officer. A hookup petty officer hooks up jets to a catapult and shoots them off the aircraft carrier. I had my own catapult. There's 4 catapults on an aircraft carrier. I ran catapult 3. So the whole time I was in the Navy, I was on catapult 3 on the Independence, and on the Carl Vinson, I was on catapult 3. I ran the flight deck crew. I was responsible for the maintenance of that catapult. I was responsible for this $40 million jet with air crew and getting them the heck out of here without putting them in the water. And I did that all day long, every day on deployment, right? And when we get into the war zone, my jets are fully loaded and ready to rock and roll. And that's what we do all day long. So those people on the ground, they are counting on these jets to show up. So we can help them, So it's all a team joint effort from the Army, Navy, Marines, the Air Force, all of us. We all work together, and we may joke with each other and stuff, but when we're there, it's a joint effort from all around, and it's an amazing thing. And when I got back to America, I got all this stuff. And it's sad to see that Americans take their freedom for granted. And they walk around and they don't honor veterans the way they used to honor veterans. And but what can you do? Because what we did or what we do is for you, is so you can stay home in your bed and sleep nice and tight and warm, And those are the things I don't take for granted no more, And if you talk smack about veterans, then you're going to hear from me and you're going to hear from my community.
Good.
And that's who I am. And I just don't like bullies. I don't like that kind of stuff. And I've always been the type to stand up and say, what you're doing, try that with me. We're gonna go for it. So I grew up in a boarding school, so I'm rough.
So there's a lot of boarding school experiences out there. What was yours like?
Mine was mostly like it was close to home, so it wasn't really like I was shipped off. I lived on the same res as the boarding school I was on. So, but I was there from 7th grade to 12th grade. Yeah. So I learned how to fight in boarding school. Like the first day there, I'm not even kidding. The first day, yo, I'm a scared little skinny boy, like with a big old head, Like I was scared, and I wake up in the morning, you get your new clothes on, and it's like ready to roll. I'm ready to go to school. It's like 7:45, but my buddy, he's still in his bunk. I'm like, hey, wake up, bro. And he was so mad. He jumped out and he just like tackled into me. So I just grabbed him like this and boom, 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 boom. And I dropped him. And I started crying. I was like, oh! I was mad because I had to beat up my friend. I went to school. He didn't even make it to school on his first day of 7th grade.
What? Poor kid.
I canceled him. I said, take your first day off, bro.
Cancel. I think it's cute you cried.
Yeah, I really did. Here's the crazy part, right? Because I joined junior high football, right? So I was like, I'm skinny. I got to get in the weight room. So they had a weight room in the dorm, right? And I'm down there one time, and I'm just like, because I started wrestling in 2nd grade. I know I don't look buff, but But in second grade, I was always working out. And so when I was in seventh grade, it wasn't really nothing. I was in the weight room doing my pull downs, my lats, And then I hear someone come in and I turn around and it's his big brother. And he's like a sophomore. And I'm like this seventh grader. And I'm like, oh shit, He's like, hey, what's up? How you doing, Dom? I said, how you doing? He's like, I heard you and Tubbs got in a fight. I said, oh yeah. Well, he probably deserved it. He's got a mouth on him. I said, yeah, he does. His mouth. That's why I shut it.
I feel like episodes of Oz just took your boarding school experience and turned it into episodes.
What's in this coffee?
Oh.
Drink some water.
Oh, Lord. So I guess that's good. So was boarding school just more like a tribal school?
There were boards on the doors, on the air vents, on the windows. We were bored.
I can't with this guy. Listen, so to give people a moment to forget about the shame we've brought to our people, we're going to play a few more little promos here, and I don't know how much I have to pay or who I have to pay it, but if I don't get skinny arm JR 7th grade trying to wrestle pictures, I'm going to lose my mind. So
I lost them in storage. You guys ever do that?
I don't, is there an aunt, cousin?
I was on drugs.
Grandma? Is there anybody we can text? Because I'm just envisioning
I'm sure there's something out there, but let's not look.
We're gonna do a journalistic deep dive here. Okay, so Monica, my favorite jewelry gal, Amy, is watching. So Monica,
Deck boss. Oh, James Fox. He says deck boss.
what does that mean? Is
that means he's probably like him? If he's a deck boss, that means like he's a bosun's mate. Yeah. And they're the ones that they do all the work.
Oh, at least he knows it.
Yeah, but I'm a flight deck. What they really call them is deck apes, right? They call the bosun's mates, they call them deck apes. And then we're Airedales because we work in the air department. So I guess we're air deck apes. I don't know. I'm a bosun's mate though. Aviation. They call us ADs, aviation bosun's mate.
So there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, I made it to E4, then I made it to E3 again.
Your Tinder must look like a mess.
What's Tinder?
Good. All right. We'll be back.
All I know.
For 102 years, the Association on American Indian Affairs has been a leader protecting sovereignty, preserving culture, educating Native youth, and building capacity. Our vision is to create a world where diverse Native cultures and values are lived, protected, and respected. We work towards our vision through our 3 program areas staffed by leading experts and specialists, as well as interns young in their career building skills for advocacy in Native country. Cultural sovereignty means simply returning control over the things that make us who we are as Native peoples. Over the course of history, colonial powers have forcibly removed us from our homelands, looted our graves and sacred places, outlawed our languages and religions, and kidnapped our children. The Association's Cultural Sovereignty Program, led by Reggie Tuppence, a citizen of the Upper Mattaponi tribe, works to develop infrastructure such as federal, state, and Native Nation laws and policies that will support the return of our stolen lands, ancestors, religious practices, languages, identity, and bringing home our children who died at boarding schools. In addition, the association develops training, strategies, and technical support to build capacity within Native nations and works to change perspectives of those who wish to hold on to our culture without our free, prior, and informed consent. And don't forget our 10th annual repatriation conference coming in February 2025 at the Tunica Biloxi Tribe's Paragon Resort. The Next Generations program promotes strong, resilient youth, families, and nations through advocacy, education, cultural connectedness, healing, and well-being. Next Generations initiatives include protection of the Indian Child Welfare Act, investigating adoption practices, Native Youth Summer Camp grants, Native Youth and Juvenile Justice, and scholarships for Native undergraduate and graduate students that are the oldest scholarships in Native country. In every program, we work to pass down intergenerational healing with traditional practices and well-being strategies. The Next Generations program is led by Kim Metler, a citizen of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation. Become an ally means providing meaningful public education and advocacy on issues that affect Native country. The association believes that a society that understands Native peoples, their sovereign nations, and diverse cultures will make better decisions about the environment, the economy, education, healthcare, and how we can all exist together on one planet. The Becoming an Ally program is about building relationships that will support allyship, education, and accountability for our world and one another. You can find Cece Hovey, a citizen of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe, and our Public Affairs and Communications Director, leading the charge to educate everyone on our website, through our publications, through training and public speaking, and on all of our social media platforms. Head to our website to learn more about the Association on American Indian Affairs staff at indian-affairs.org. It's time to vote. In the chat, you'll see the link to the form that you'll fill out to say yes or no for the renewal of Frank Edowagishik for another 4-year term as a Board of Directors member for the Association on American Indian Affairs. Vote now.
Everything back.
Let's meet the Board of Directors for the Association on American Indian Affairs. As the longest-serving national Native nonprofit, we must have stringent requirements for our financial accountability. The association continues to receive the highest ratings as a financially responsible nonprofit from rating agencies, and we continue to build important relationships with foundations and Native nations. Our most consistent donors and members are Native and non-Native individuals just like you from around the country and even around the world. Remember that we don't take any federal funding, so we can always maintain our independence. In 2024 through October, our net assets totaled $2,832,128. This is $1 million more than last year and includes $897,000, or about 32%, in restricted funds. Restricted funds are provided to the association with specific instructions on how we must spend that funding. For example, our scholarship program is funded by restricted funds. The 68% remaining are non-restricted funds, which allows us to be flexible to create new programs, hire staff, and respond to emergencies when needed. We'll be under budget on our expenses this year. We had planned to spend just over $1.3 million for 2024, and at the end of October, we've spent just over $713,000. This is primarily due to not being fully staffed until the last half of the year, and funding for strategic planning and our website development is still waiting for us to enter into those contracts. But on top of this, the association is working on growing a $10 million endowment to support our operations well into our future and ensure consistent progress is made, and so that we can maintain a certain number of full-time staff no matter what happens out in the world. Always remember that you can find our annual reports, our independent audited financials, and our IRS filings online on our website if you're interested in our financial health. You can find it at indian-affairs.org, annual reports and financials. Thank you for listening.
We are back. JR Redwater. It is I, Jennifer Robin. And so, JR, you mentioned being called a Yankee in your overseas
very offensive
sluttery.
Yeah.
But you're not just fighting for the citizens of the U.S. These are your ancestral homelands and roots. So being from a people that killed Custard, when they call you a Yankee, is that like the N-word for Indians?
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much is. I mean, believe it or not, like living in Japan, they have signs on establishments that say no Americans allowed, you know? So you're able to feel like some discrimination in other countries that you go to because they just don't like Americans, you know? And they know we're Americans because we're the tallest ones walking around our country, right? So, but yeah, it's you learn how to get around the world. You know, you learn how to navigate through different countries and deal with different people. And
yeah, but we have to do that through our own United States.
Yeah,
you know, we have to navigate.
So, but what's cool about it is the training that you get when you're in the military is like second to none. You know, everything you do, like I said, I've been to firefighting school, aircraft, shipboard firefighting, I mean, everything you do is it's written in blood. So when you come home and you're able to come and serve your people, let's say when we went charging up into Standing Rock, you can do that with confidence and knowing that everybody that's behind you, rolling behind you, is has top military training like you, and you give a command, they're gonna do it, because that's all we need is just somebody in front of us to tell us what the heck to do, and we'll do it. So that's why that all came together there. And you got leadership, you got people who can handle themselves under pressure in high pressure situations, that if you're a civilian and you were never launching F-18s in the middle of a hurricane, because that happens. Like you're on a flight deck and you can't even see the end of the flight deck because the storm's so big, and the ship is going like this and you're still shooting airplanes. You press a fire button when the bow goes down, and when it pops up, they fly up in the air. This is the kind of training, these are the kind of people that are your brothers and sisters that you go to war with, that they have your six, they got your back, they can do your job, you can do their job. And these are the people, that's what I'm saying, when I lived in Japan, the camaraderie was tight because we were all we had. When I got stationed back in San Francisco, people were going home every day. There was no camaraderie. No one was sticking around. Nobody was saying, let's go to the E Club and have a pitcher of beer after work. Everybody was going. They all had their own hobbies. This little stateside, nobody had to stay together. So it's really different from being stationed overseas to be stationed on this side. But when you get out, you almost feel like you can do anything. And that's why being in the military and being able to come home, and if some shit popped off right now and we have veterans in this room, we're going to know what to do. Okay? And that's how it works. And every veteran knows their role. They're specialized in something. So you want somebody around like that when the shit hits the fan, everybody else loses their mind, because they haven't felt nothing like this. They haven't been under pressure. They haven't had so much scrutiny. When you run a catapult, they don't just say, "Oh, can you go out there and do that?" Nah. That is so many days and nights and training and danger. It's like one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. People get sucked up into those intakes, you know? So that was the job I did, and nobody got killed on my watch, nobody on my flight deck, you know? We killed many people, but that was as a group.
Sounds like you killed a few marriages too while you were.
Yeah, it seems good, but you know, like when you're young, you don't care. When you're young, like you go out there, you're gonna charge hard in everything you do, you know, and even women. I'll ride anything with hair on it. I'm cowboy.
But you can't grow the chest hair, so you need.
I have a couple.
Can't grow the mustache, so you need it from your women.
Tabasco on this morning. You know?
Rub it in. JR. So back to
Am I turning red?
Yeah.
Turning Indian finally.
It took a minute. So Southern California, the comedy thing, you mentioned that you didn't know you could leave the res. That's one of your bits.
Yeah.
But I didn't laugh the first time I heard that. The first time I saw it. Because we had to get permits. We had to register. We had to ask permission during points of history to leave the res.
You know, really, it's a mentality. That joke is about a mentality. You know, my dad, before he died, he told me, "Don't come home to the res.
Wow.
There's nothing here for you," right? So that's his mentality. And my mom and dad were both university educated, but they didn't want us living on the res because it's just a lot of ratchetness, you know? So it's like, but they just didn't want us there. They wanted more for us. They knew there was more, and they wanted that for us. And they already knew what was there. And they went through the boarding school system and stuff. My dad used to tell me about it, how he used to get beat and get his mouth washed out with soap and all this. And he couldn't have long hair. This is the longest my hair has ever been. My dad used to cut my hair all the time. Because the white farmer who used to work for, he said, "Dominic, how come you guys have long hair? You Indians, you don't even take care of it. It's long and greasy. Don't even take care of it." So my dad always cut my hair short. I think it was because of that, because he told me that when I was
to spare you the shame.
So then, like, I started growing this hair this year because that was always a part of, like, that's kind of oppression, you know, and a type of oppression. So when I had two sons, I always cut their hair. But I was in the military too, so my hair was always buzz cut. But I always cut their hair like that too, you know. And it has a lot of good purposes actually, because my boys got lice, you know. So I was like, we're starting over, you know. So yeah, you know. But like that's a lot of, you know, Indians and poor people, they could relate to that kind of stuff. But I'm growing my hair long right now because I'm gonna get in the movies. You know, I'm gonna play Chief Redwater or something. So
you're an actor too, you say? You're not just a comedian. You're an actor, a thespian of sorts.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it because I'm not even trying to brag. It's just that, like, comedians, you know, normally, like, I can go on stage and I can perform an hour and, like, crack people up for an hour. That's amazing, you know. Like, I always wanted to do that. It's just the most amazing feeling to have and be able to do that. But when you write your own material, you're writing your own script. And so like you see me, all right? That's what comedy is. It's showing people. It's not just words. It's actually, if we weren't online, they couldn't laugh as hard as they are because they could see me. They could see my facial expressions and body language. It's all a big deal. This is all a tool. Your whole body. You watch my comedy online or live or wherever you want, but I'm physical. Like I'll use my eyes, my my hands, my body, my voice inflections. And you can do anything. And even silence. Silence is always golden, right? So you learn all these little tricks but I learned them right away. Like I said, I got out of the Navy in 99. In 2004, in the beginning of 2004, I was a pro comedian already because I sat down and I wrote 1 hour. And all clean, by the way. Not no more. But, okay.
That'd be the hardest.
But it was clean. It was clean. A 1 hour clean material. And I practice it. And then all the voice inflections, body, facial expressions, everything. Like people, like if you're gonna be a pro, you have to use all of it, and you have to command a room. You have to take over a space. You just have to.
So you have to be like a professional narcissist.
Yeah. You really, why you wouldn't be in this business if you weren't have any kind of shape or form of it, really, because that's what it takes. And on some level, every comedian, they're always looking for that attention. We're the sad clowns, and we're always looking for some sort of validation, And for me, I'm like the hero of the family as well. So I serve that role in my family, right? But I'm also the clown in my family. I know my roles. That it's not that I chose it. That's who I am, though. So it's I own it. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not a follower. I'm more of I like to be out and doing my own thing, and I like to think for myself, and I don't like to go run with the crowd. I'm never that kind of guy.
Well, yeah, we need that. We don't need another guppy, another lemming jumping off the cliff. Mm-hmm. So it's like running of the bulls, but backwards. Like you know what I mean? All the cows are, and you're just like, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah, I was always kind of a daredevil. Have you ever went skydiving?
No.
I have. In San Diego, Cece. I was in San Diego. I went skydiving down there in is it La Mesa? I think it's La Mesa, right? Right on the border. And I was like, man, I did all awesome things in my life. This is on my bucket list, right? I was like, I gotta go. So I went down there, and like, it's pretty crazy because they don't even put a parachute on you, like, but they fly with the door open. And you're like, I could fall out right now, dude. Like, you guys know this, right? Like, so, but then, like, it's tandem jump, right? So you gotta get a guy on your back, you know. And I never, like, I don't do that. But you gotta if you wanna.
If you wanna live, yeah.
So
that's what most women
and he's all like,
said.
5 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, like. And they give you a harness, right? It has some hooks on it or whatever. And then he's like, 5 minutes. He's all, you got to get on my lap. I'm like, all right. So I get on his lap, right? And I'm like, oh, shit. What is that? Hold on. Is that your cell phone or? Oh, man. But it wasn't hard, It wasn't hard. Like I knew what it was. I knew what it was.
Yeah, now we all know what it was.
Yeah. My butt cheeks don't lie, girl. My butt cheeks don't lie. Yeah. I was like, hurry up. Let's just go. Let's just go. Just connect one. Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool, man. You jump out of an airplane, like you can't see shit because the wind's in your eyes. You're like,
It's all watering.
yeah. I had goggles on, but it was still because they were cheap, So. But I did it twice. I ended up doing it twice, and it's after that, it's like conquering your fear of heights. Like you ever like be sleeping and you're on a cliff and then you roll off and you wake up on the floor. It's like one of those things. I was on the top bunk though when that happened, so that's why I'm like this.
One of the reasons.
So, but yeah, no. I mean, then I went to Las Vegas. You ever go to the Stratosphere? They have this. It's called the Big Shot, and you get on it and shoot straight up. It's on the top of the Stratosphere. Shoots like 300 feet in the air, right? I'm up there, I'm on it, and it feels like you're gonna shoot off into the sky, into the desert, right? And when you go skydiving, when you do stuff like that, it's not as scary anymore, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, so
Conquer your fears.
little known fact, adrenaline makes me pass out. Do you have any guys like that in the military?
I've
So,
seen people pass out.
I did bungee jumping, woke up, just limp
oh.
on that. So then I was like, I got to do it again. Like, I'm not going to pass out again, whatever. So I went up, woke up again, just limp on a string. So, I guess that's the thing. It's like the happy goats, they just get all pumped and then.
Yeah.
So I have to play it cool a lot.
You ever see the goats up in the trees?
No.
Like, they have hooves, split hooves like yours.
Like mine?
They could crawl up any tree, any rock cliff, any dam.
We're doing
It's
the
like
Thriller.
See, look at these hooves.
Hey, stop.
Hey, what you doing?
I don't even know what we were talking about because I'm making a pedicure appointment in my head right now for the hooves.
Oh, we didn't even see these ones down here.
I feel so terrible when I do go get a mani-pedi. These poor women work so hard to like make a life and be in this country and get licensed, and then they got to look at my Indian feet, like my mountain Indian feet. Like I won't do it. So there's many things I live out and
you need
proud
to go
about.
to Costco and get like a big old tub of lotion.
And then
each
what?
kneecap.
Ew.
One tub for each kneecap.
We didn't say I was ashy. Jeez.
That's how you make ashiness go away. Did you know that?
Are you jealous of my mustache?
She's more manly than me.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yes. No, JR.
So I did start doing stand-up comedy at the world famous Improv. That's where I made my debut.
Where's that?
In Irvine, California, Orange County, California. It was back in 2001. It was crazy because I always wanted to be, when I left the Navy, right? Because when you're getting ready to get off the ship, I started throwing all my uniforms. They call it deep six, I throw my uniforms over. I'm like, I ain't wearing these shit no more. Right? Hit the road, Jack. And then I was like, I'm gonna be a comedian when I get out. Right? Well, that wasn't my first thought. That was my friend's thought, but I stole it. But he was like, we were cleaning the head one day and we're out to sea. He's like, Red, when I get, because I'm Redwater, he's like, Red, when I get out of the Navy, I'm gonna be a comedian. I said, you're pretty funny, man. I could see that. But I'm from the res, and you don't ever hear anybody talk about their dreams because, like, once you talk about your dreams, people gonna put you down.
Yeah.
It's like the crab pot theory, So I was like, man, Conan, when I get out of the Navy, I'm going to do comedy too. That's what I told him. And he's like, yeah, man. I said, yeah, bro. So when I got out, like I said, I came to LA and I started doing open mics in 2001. And it was first the Improv was the very first place I called, right? I was like, where do you go do comedy? Oh, the Improv.
I want to go be funny.
Right? So I call him. And it's the manager, and his name is Jeff Jenna. Jeff, if you're out there, thank you, buddy. Like, he was one of my first mentors, but he's a headliner. He managed the club. And I was like, my name's JR Redwater. I think I'm pretty funny, you know, right? All cocky and shit. But he's all right. I'll give you a 3-minute audition. You come in on February 6th, and I'll give you a shot, right? So I was like, all right. So, and I go in and I just bomb. Like, it was the worst, most humiliating thing. Even more humiliating than this.
Can't be that much more.
For 3 days, I wanted to quit. Like, I went home. I was like, man, I don't think I could do this, you know? But then I was like, well, JR, when you went in the Navy, like, you weren't the best drunk. So you're gonna have to work at it, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna have to work at this, you know. And I hired a comedy coach, and he helped me write my first 7 minutes of comedy, and I took that around for like the first 3 years. I made money off of it.
But you
too.
had a Showtime special pretty quick then. I mean, if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
started 2001, when was that? Like
Yeah, so I
2007?
started open micing 2001. I went pro January 6, 2004. I went pro. I quit my job. I went on the road for like pretty much like all through Indian country doing gigs like this for natives all over the land. And then was still doing open mics and comedy clubs around here in Southern California, trying to make a name for myself. It really went quick. Actually, I was a natural. Like the fourth time I ever went on stage, I murdered it. I killed it. And it was the same shit I was bombing with the 3 weeks earlier. So don't ask me how it works, but I just think something like clicked. And this time I just made it sound natural when I went up there, you know? But then that was the fourth time. And then after that, when people saw me kill, they were like, can you come do our show? Come do our show. Because I was Native American too. They're like, that's a good hook. That's a good hook. Right? So I was like, all right. So then I worked on that hour I told you about. I wrote this whole hour of comedy. And I said, I already prayed to God, remember? And I was like, I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna market myself. And this was before the internet, before TikTok, Instagram, YouTube was barely out. We used to have audition tapes on VHS, and we're gonna put them in an envelope and send them wherever we want to get work. Right? That's the day. That's where I come from. That's how old school like my comedy is, right? So that's what I used to do. I used to take my set from the Improv where I thought I was pretty good, and I would mail that out. But then I started using YouTube before like pretty much anyone was doing it, and I kind of went viral, and I started getting work off of it. And you become a pro, you live on the road, and you're doing hours at a time. It's just like, but my discipline and my desire to succeed and to know that, like, I was like, dude, you go over here to these other countries, you're number one over there, be number one when you do this job, you know? And so that's what I applied to my craft. And 2004, I went on the road. I met up with some other comedians, Jim Rule, Mark Yaffe, Vaughn Eaglebear. We joined up and we called ourselves Powwow Comedy Jam, you know? So the 4 skins of comedy. I get paid extra for that, right? So, we were on the road, and it was pretty cool because it was like the Backstreet Boys, but we're the reservation boys, you know? And we were going all over and different Indian communities and casinos, and we started to get a huge fan base because we were just going everywhere. And people just loved us everywhere we went. Like we started making a name for ourselves. Because like here in Hollywood, I didn't see no Indians doing comedy back when I started. There were no Native American Indians doing comedy in Hollywood. The only one was Charlie Hill. And he's a legend, right? But I didn't know him. But I used to come to Hollywood all the time since 99 until I started in 2001. I was visiting the comedy clubs because I was trying to feel it all out, you know? And then I learned of Charlie, but I never saw him. But there was no natives doing comedy. And so that's what I was doing here. I was like, our people don't have a voice in comedy right now. And I want to be that voice, you know, in comedy, in stand-up. And I always thought I was funnier. I used to go heckle people, you know, before I became a comedian. So don't do that, guys. I don't.
Well, there's a misconception that like there's nothing funny about being Native American. Like,
no, funny's funny though. All you got, that's what Charlie Hill used to say to me all the time. Frank, we were talking about Charlie Hill earlier, and he used to say, funny's funny, JR. If it's funny, it's funny. So I just didn't care about that. And Charlie Hill was my mentor. And I used to take him to the clubs. I used to pick him up. I used to drop him off. We used to go have coffee and breakfast at night, you know, after the club closed and this and that. And he used to tell me all about the old days. He used to introduce me to all the old school headliners in Hollywood and all the back rooms and this and that. Tell me what happened here, what happened there, what happened all over, you know? And hanging out with him was like hanging out with royalty in Hollywood. Because you have full access, you know, and you don't have that. Like I could walk in there with Dinah. Dinah's a Comedy Store comedian, but she's not on the wall, but he is. And he was best friends with Richard Pryor as well. So when we go into Mel's Diner on Sunset Strip, Charlie be like, "Go, let's go sit back here, JR." I was like, "All right." We'll go sit down. He said, "This is where me and Richard Pryor used to sit down. We used to sit here after the club." So every time I go to Mel's Diner, I always go there. I sit there, you know. And when Charlie Hill was my brother there, that's where he became my brother. He told me, he said, "Didn't you just lose your brother?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I just lost mine too." No. And he says, "Now we're brothers." And then he reached his hand across and, you know, I said, "Thank you." So I try to glean and get as much and learn as much as I can from a Hollywood legend like that. And definitely those footsteps are big footsteps to fill. And I still feel like I just got started though, even though I've been doing this over 20 years, you know, like 24 years or whatever. But I still feel like I have so much more to offer, and my next hour comedy special is going to be called Pretendian.
I can't with your silky shirt.
I cannot be hanging out with Pretendians no more. That's all I'm saying, man. They're tricky.
Well,
They're trickier than Ricky.
Let's take a 43-second break, and then I want to tap on Pretendians and explain what it means a little bit. And then we can wrap you up and hand you back over to your handler and stuff, and you can put on a less sparkly shirt. Listen, as soon as we hit stop record, there's casino.
I look like a Christmas ornament.
I do. No, you do. This is the association's holiday special with our golden dancer, our golden Santa dancer.
Christian, so.
You know what? Jesus was brown too. That's what but you say that.
He
you
was
said,
bronze.
I prayed to Jesus. You dropped to your knees in prayer, and then you fell in love with the Jew. So that's a whole different conversation there, JR.
Jesus is a Jew.
Yes.
The association is a 501c3 that does not take any federal funds. We are powered by the generosity of our members and donors. If programming like Red Hoop Talk matters to you, please consider donating or becoming a member today. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps us continue our mission. You can make a one-time gift or set up reoccurring contributions. We even accept stocks and cryptocurrency. An association membership is just $25 annually or $500 for a lifetime membership. Membership is open to anyone who supports our vision and goals. Donate or become a member today by visiting indian-affairs.org, and together we can make a difference for Native country.
I did. Hi, guys. So JR Redwater, what is a Pretendian?
Man, remember we were at the LA Skins Fest,
Yeah.
right? And remember they showed a short film that was called Pretendian?
Yes.
Oh, man, what a good movie. It was of this native model, right? This woman. She was so pretty, right? And they got her in the studio, and they're taking pictures of her, and she's all like super into it, like she's a native supermodel type looking girl.
Doing the stoic.
And she's like doing all her poses. And then everybody's the paparazzi's like, she's all,
She's so native right now.
Yours down here, right? That girl, while they were taking pictures of her, one of the aides comes into the shoot and hands a note over to the producer of the shoot, and the producer's like, the photographer's like, wait, we got another one? We got another one? Dang, it's another one. Dang. Shut it down, everybody. It's a wrap. We're going home. We got another one. And the woman's pretending to be Indian. And that's how she got that role. She took a native's job. And Hollywood is starting to recognize this type of stuff. And I really believe that our native comedy movement had a lot to do with this, because we're the first natives on national TV to have our own stand-up comedy special on national TV in America. We're the first ones. Me, Jim, Vaughn,
the foreskins.
Charlie Hill, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, all of us, there were 7 of us. Nobody's done this in American history. And we got to do it because we started to build a following all over America. And Hollywood found out about it. And they said, they were filming a special called The Godfathers of Comedy, like these Italian guys, right? And then they heard of ours over dinner, because they're in Chicago, they were shooting it. And they said, it was Rocco or BC and Neil Marshall and them guys. They're like, the natives of comedy? What? That's better than what we're doing right now. So when they came back to Hollywood, we had a meeting with them and we discussed our comedy special. And we were originally trying to get it on HBO, but ended up being on Showtime. I guess that's still a win, right? So, but it was like, when you get that chance, you remember, Lord, because the night before I was in North Dakota, I was at a casino, and I was at the Dakota Magic Casino. I went to Minneapolis. I got on a flight home, and I show up in Hollywood, LAX. I go right to the comedy club. I get on stage again, because the next day I'm gonna be on Showtime, right? So I was like, I can't miss this opportunity. You have to be ready. Like, this is why you're on your hands and knees praying for this, right? And so the next day I show up, and my mom's there, my wife, all my friends, the community, all the comedians I know that like I look up to and stuff. They're there, and it was just the most amazing day. It was right in Hollywood at the El Rey Theater off of Wilshire. I mean, we packed the theater, we rocked it, and that's when my life changed. Like for real, legitly. After that, people start recognizing me everywhere. It goes crazy. It goes crazy. I was in the Staples Center at a Laker game with my nephew. I took him for a basketball game and for his birthday, and some guy just points me out. He goes crazy. You JR! Like, and people were around me. They were looking at me, and it's embarrassing. I didn't know what to do. And he said, I don't know your name, but I saw you last night on TV. Do you guys know who he is?
Because I don't.
And he didn't even know who I was. And I was like, my name's JR Redwater. He's like, yeah, JR Redwater. JR, this is it. He's funny. And everyone's looking at me. I'm like trying to pay for my nephew's gift. I'm like, let's get out of here. My nephew's looking at me like I did something wrong, you know? I was like, it's cool, bro. Let's go. But it was like that all the time. People will start recognizing me everywhere, and which is pretty cool, actually. But yeah, it changed. Your life changes forever. I got a standing ovation on national TV. Not trying to brag, but like that's what changed.
I feel like people are standing up off their couches and applauding you right now. So I'm going to replay. I'm going to do a promo, and then I want to give out like websites and what can we expect from your next hour. So hold tight. We're here live with JR Redwater.
The association is a 501c3 that does not take any federal funds. We are powered by the generosity of our members and donors. If programming like Red Hoop Talk matters to you, please consider donating or becoming a member today. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps us continue our mission. You can make a one-time gift or set up reoccurring contributions. We even accept stocks and cryptocurrency. An association membership is just $25 annually or $500 for a lifetime membership. Membership is open to anyone who supports our vision and goals. Donate or become a member today by visiting indian-affairs.org, and together we can make a difference for Native country.
So we are back. Now we've done it and we're going to start wrapping it up a little bit, but what can we expect from this next hour special? Is it just going to be about getting old?
No, it's gonna. Ever since my last special, like I've lived a life and a half, so and it's not all good.
We're catching up.
Yeah, but it makes for good comedy when it's not all good, you know. So.
Well, we have to laugh at it
because
you can only cry for so long.
Yeah. So I'm gonna Pretendian is gonna be about obviously dating a Pretendian.
Yeah, we also saw a film on that Cherokee grandmother, how somebody's on a date and the person they're dating's great grandma is the Cherokee princess.
Yeah. No, and so like it's just like, you see, it's a big deal. The reason why is like all these entitlements are supposed to go to federally recognized tribes, you know? And if you got people in there that, you know, are telling somebody they're Native, but they can't prove it, but they're a good enough friend or whatever they got to do to secure that position and take it away from somebody who's actually entitled to that position. And so there you're already stealing from Indians again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're already taking away from what somebody who's just as talented, if not more, and actually looks like an Indian, you know, is going to have that role, or somebody who can actually relate to the people that are out there that you're trying to serve. And if you don't, and if you're just stealing another person's culture and appropriating it, and then you're no better than the white man that you're trying to be, go against and fight against this systematic oppression and genocide and everything that comes along with it, so and we all go through it, but yeah, that's why I think that when we came out and we did our comedy special, now you see more Native Americans coming out with more productions, more Indian comedians on the internet, and a lot of them I know, a lot of them, they look up to me and my buddies because like we started this movement basically. So now you got Reservation Dogs, like all these people, they're all coming out and they're all like at Skins Fest. They all have these films, man, and they have remember we saw Crystal Lightning?
Yeah, and Mary
Margaret Road Grader. Mary Margaret Road Grader is a movie about post-apocalyptic Indian reservation. So, and they all drive something with a motor, and hers is a road grader, right? So her last name instead of Redwater is Road Grader.
Because it was supposed to be Redwater.
Yeah, because those were the old days, right? And in the movie, it's funny because they're like, yeah, don't be letting these people come around here with horses. We're not horse people. We're car people. Because it's a post-apocalyptic, right? So Mary Margaret Road Grader, what a funny movie. I was in a movie with Crystal Lightning, a short film. And that one's called Search for the World's Best Indian Taco. I showed it to you.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, and she's at the taco stand, and I show up in a shirt like this, right? Hey, baby.
I thought that's where you got the shirt.
Right? Yeah. So, but I show up and I'm all, hey, and I'm hitting on her, and she slams an Indian taco into my face, right? So, and we had to do that take 7 times because she couldn't stop laughing. They kept cleaning all that sauce off my face.
You had bean in your eye.
Yeah.
It was
Serious cheese, I'm like, that's eye cheese though.
So all the stuff that you're referencing, especially the stuff you're in, do you have a website? Is there a JR Redwater?
No, you just look on YouTube.
Real Engine?
Yeah, I have a YouTube. My website's down right now. But mostly it's just Instagram or whatever now. But when I go back on tour, I'll get my website back up and running for business and stuff. But it's normally just jrredwater.com, but I don't have it up.
But
right
on the
now.
socials, is it just JR?
Yeah, it's JR Redwater Comedy. Anywhere you go, it's JR Redwater Comedy. And I performed for the troops in Iraq. I was there for 10 days, So I made it to the Middle East 4 times in my life, 3 on active duty. And then once as a stand-up comedian performing for the troops, I performed in Saddam Hussein's palace, or one of his theaters. Yeah, it was pretty cool, 1,000 troops. It was amazing, So just living a life.
Well, I appreciate your service, but I also appreciate your comedy, and I look forward to Pretendians. It doesn't sound funny yet. It sounds it sounds infuriating personally.
Yeah,
but we'll get there.
Yeah, but my comedy before, if you watched it, it has to do with dysfunctional relationships, So basically, but Pretendian is one of those things where it's Pretendians do things that they're pretending, right?
I know.
They're showing up overdressed as an Indian or some shit like that, they show up with the
Breastplate
headdress on or something. They got a buckskin dress on or something. They're like, I'm Indian. I'm like, you're overdoing it, bro.
It's 98 degrees and they're wearing all roadkill.
Yeah, or they wear knee-high moccasins. It's like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
So I call them card-carrying Indians because you have to have a card to prove you're Indian. Just look at me. It's either I'm Mexican or I'm Indian.
I go either way,
It's either I'm
depending on how
drunk or I
safety.
stole the car.
You know, depending on where I am, I'll be Mexican or native, like whatever gets me
I
like
have to blend in myself.
through
right?
the hood.
Yeah, like I said, I was Filipino before.
I've been sprinkled in. I'm like
A New
2%
Zealander.
black.
I was New Zealander before.
Yeah,
I was Hawaiian before when I was there. You know,
I
the
can't
skinny
see.
Hawaiian.
I was gonna say the whitest albino. This is albino for Hawaii.
Oh, can I tell you about Hawaii one time?
Just one time.
Just one time. Okay, so me and my friend. Okay, we pull into Pearl Harbor for like 1 week, and I've been there like 4 times, but like, we were on our way to Japan, and we stop in there. Here, we party all week and stuff, and meet all kinds of islanders, and it's just a really good time. Waikiki, you know. And the last night we're there, we're like each have like $10 each, right? Not really enough to go out and drink. So we're like, man, let's just go find a joint, you know? Let's go find a joint. I mean, and it's like 0 tolerance in the Navy, right? So let's go then, bro. We go down to Waikiki, and then we see this one guy, and I'm like, hey, bro, because they're all sitting, they're like hippies sitting on the sidewalk against the wall. I said, hey, you got any weed we can get from you? He's like, no, man, I just have weed. I need papers. And I'm like, damn, man. I look down and I see some other like hippies. So I go over there, right? I say, hey, you guys got any papers? He's like, yeah, but we don't got any weed. I said, well, that guy over there has weed. Why don't you guys connect? And so I connected them right there, and they rolled a fatty, right? So me and my boy, we're just like these Navy sailors. We're standing on Waikiki Boulevard with these, you know, grungy looking dudes, you know? And then next thing you know, like they passed me the joint. I'm all, did I just pass it up? Right? And then he already hit his because he passed it to me. And then I just look at everybody, and I was so stoned. I was just like, I was in the Twilight Zone, you know? I was like, is this what Maui Wowie is, yo? So I just looked over at my friend, and he looked at me. I said, let's get the fuck out. We didn't have to finish the joint, yo. We were high all night.
It's all right, lightweight.
Okay, so next day we're pulling out of Pearl Harbor, right? And we're head towards Japan, but they called his number for piss test. And he's like, Red, you got any gold seal, anything, you know, make you flush you out and stuff like that? I said, man, I don't, bro. I don't, man. He said, they call my number. I said, fuck, bro. We just smoked last night. He's like, I know. So he's going all over the ship looking, asking around. And then like 3 months into the cruise, we're like in the Persian Gulf, and I come back into the lounge area, and he's sitting there with all the boys like, hey, Krusky, Chief wants to see you something about a piss test. Really? Yeah, hurry up, Chief wants you. He gets up, and he's walking in there. He comes back like 2 minutes later. He's like, Chief didn't need to see me, you asshole. I just started laughing.
I'm just proud though that you brought 2 groups together for the benefit of mankind. That's very, very tribal of you.
Yeah,
very cultural.
You know, I'm an ambassador. You know.
I'm proud of you. So give JR Redwater a Google. Thanks
Cheers.
for being here tonight. Round of applause.
Instagram, JR Redwater Comedy. I'll add you. Thank you.
And is there anything else, Miss Shannon, you want to come up here and correct?
I can take off another article of clothing.
Oh, yeah. They want to see.
Well, I thought she wore the yoga pants because they were comfortable. Now they make more sense now. They do. So JR,
Well, I don't have pants on under here. So
I try not to. So
just this shirt.
thank you for being part of
Thank you for
102
being a
years.
friend.
We traveled
Traveled down the road and
back
back
again.
again.
Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for being here. And it's that time of the week where we gotta go.